All right. I'm just gonna be real upfront and honest, and I know this is gonna be controversial because when we look at basketball, everybody like to judge really on excitement, and I just want to talk about my favorite team for a second and why Kyrie Irving is not gonna really help us in any way. In fact, he might hurt us a little bit more than he help us. Um, yeah, I'm gonna pull up some stats to back up my claims. But I just wanted to say that even though I think the Dallas Mavericks are exciting and they will be exciting for the rest of the season, I doubt that that move is going to move the needle very much for us, man. We was already down bad, but we have two of the most exciting players in the league, so a lot of fans like to overlook that. I'm not one of those fans. I'm an honest fan. I'm going to be honest with the team, the organization. Even though I do like the Kyrie addition, I don't think he moves the needle in any way. And we gave up one of our best defenders for Kyrie, so that's one thing right there. So we gave up a good perimeter defender to put a mediocre perimeter defender. Kyrie is really small. In NBA standards, he big compared to regular guy standards, but for NBA standards, he pretty small. So him and Luka at the top is really going to make us a turnstile in defensive on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively, though, we could score with the best of them. They both scoring 30 points per game in the first two games that they played together, which is excellent. They take them about 20 to 25 shots a piece to get those numbers, so that's not really bad when it comes to all-stars in the game of basketball. The issue is on the defensive side of the ball and rebounding the ball. So I just want to pull up some really, really glaring things for me that I think that is going to hurt us in the long run. The first thing being the rebounds, because that's pretty obvious that Kyrie is not going to help us when it comes to rebounding the ball. But we didn't pick up anybody that's going to help us, and that's been our problem all season. All right, I'm going to show you Exhibit A. All right, so Exhibit A, as you can see, we are dead last in rebounds, okay? We get about 38.7 rebounds a game. That's not even 40. Brooklyn Nets is right above us. And Philly, who is a really good team, so it's odd to see them pretty low on the rebounding side of the ball. But for us particularly, when, our star players are taking the bulk of the shots, our role players really need to do some of what I like to call the garbage work, all right? And that's the rebounding the ball. When we only getting 38 rebounds a game, when we can look at what the top team is getting 40. That's Milwaukee. Memphis, New York Knicks is even getting 50 rebounds a game. And the reason why that's important is because in basketball, the more attempts you get, the better chances you have in winning the game, right? So we need the ball more often. And that brings me to the next stat. The next stat, which is steals. Okay. Steals, we are not at the bottom, but we are so close. We are 5 away from the bottom at 25th, which is not really that much better. When you look at us, again, some of the top teams are down there. So you see Milwaukee down there, you see Boston down there, you see New York down there. Brooklyn is not going to be a top team as the season goes along, but they down there as well. Again, that is something that we need to improve upon to help us in the West. Really, you don't really see no good West teams at the bottom of steals. You don't see no. Let's go back to the rebounds because I don't want to misspeak. You don't see no top West teams on the bottom of rebounding. So I'm looking at the good East teams, but the good West teams, they are not at the bottom of these specific statistical categories, right? So no bad West teams is on the bottom of rebounds with us. No good West teams. No good West teams is on the bottom of steals with us, right? And the last point I'm gonna bring up is our team is suffering from what we call the Carmelo effect. And Carmelo Anthony, I love you to death, man. You are a great player. I enjoyed watching your career growing up. But when you got to New York, even maybe sometime in Denver, the ball seems to stick in your hand when you got the ball. And that's, we call that hero ball as well. Tracy McGrady used to do that. Kobe Bryant used to do that. So, Carmelo was just doing what his forefathers or the people before him was doing. So I don't really blame Carmelo. I know I call it the Carmelo effect because he's the one of the last people that played hero ball, to usher in this new generation. So it's easier to just use him as a way to relate with the people that don't really watch the older basketball or know about the older basketball. All right. So I just call it the Carmelo effect for that simple reason. It's relatable. All right. We have two players that suffers from that Carmelo Anthony effect, and that's Luka and that's Kyrie. And that hurts us as well because, in my opinion, when your role players, they get more shots up early in the season, they get a little bit more comfortable. So in the playoffs, and the pressure is on, right, it's a little bit easier to take the shots and make the shots that they've been making all season. Now the problem is, and I'm gonna show you with this last statistical category why it's hurting us, and while we are suffering from that, as I'm just gonna show you. I'm sorry. The assist numbers. Okay, so I'm gonna go up so you can see assists is highlighted. Right, we are almost dead last in that category as well. So that just is to back my point. Those are only 3 categories I'm gonna show you. So go back to the close up. But that was just, a couple categories to prove my point that the ball is sticking a little bit too much in our hands, and that's making it so that, is a lot of hero ball. The ball is dead. It's not a lot of movement. The defense ain't really working because if the ball is stuck in your hand, you only got to build a wall or guard one specific person or just 2 people, and it's 5 of y'all. 5 people guarding 2 people. You're not really tiring any NBA players out, right? You're not really beating the defense, right? The ball is not moving because really it's not always the creative players that beat the defense, right? Because we know Kyrie and Luka, they could do that all game. They could beat the defense all game. I'm not saying they can't. What I'm saying is it makes the role players cold. And when the role players do not get enough, they don't see the ball going in the hoop enough, right? That could take away from their confidence. And I know they're NBA players, but they still work on confidence. You will hear everybody tell you it's 10% work, 90% mental, right? So they telling you right there that it's all about confidence. So if you're not shooting the ball a lot, seeing the ball go through is messing up your confidence. Now, I'm not saying Luka and Kyrie should defer, but they should definitely start giving the role players some more opportunities early. Why still mid-season before it gets too late? Because in the playoffs, when Luka go to dish it out to whoever's at the corner or Kyrie go to kick it out to whoever, they not going to be making those shots. Then they're going to be mad because we're not taking advantage of our open shots. Because in the playoffs, the defense is going to specifically focus on them 2 guys, right? So if we don't know where everybody like to shoot the ball, they don't know where they like to shoot the ball. They haven't been shooting the ball. How is it that in the playoffs it's going to work? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see how that could work. I don't see how through the whole season, or not the season, because Kyrie just got here about a couple of games ago. But from if they do this for the rest of the season from this point, I don't see how the rest of the team come into the playoffs with confidence, ready to shoot the ball. They're already not rebounding, right? And they're already not playing. They're not playing the passing lanes the greatest. I'm not going to say their defense is not stellar. We all know the NBA is kind of leaning towards the offensive side of the ball, so it's not too much things you could do on defense. But at the same time, through the stats we saw, they clearly not playing the passing lanes that well either. So with that being said, there's a lot of things us Mavs fans could, cheer about, right? We got 2 of the best scorers in the game. It's going to be a lot of good basketball when it comes to watching Dallas Mavericks basketball. But those 2 losses with those 2 together, the first 2 games they played together, that should tell you something, right? And I know the last game, the reason we lost is because they was being a little bit too unselfish. But think about it. They was only passing it to each other. In that moment, they didn't look to say, all right, it's 3 guys playing us right now. Or 2, I forget. It probably was 2. But if they would have passed it to somebody that, on the corner and then came back and got it, they probably got an open shot. Or they could have passed and cut. I mean, it's other, we could clearly cut that clip down with a fine-tooth comb and be picky on it. I'm not going to do that. All right. Let's just say if they don't involve other people into the game early, it's going to be ugly for us come playoff time. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. Can we win a series? Not playing like this. I promise you, it's not going to be hard to beat us in 7 games if we keep playing like this. If we get it together, will it be hard to beat us? Absolutely. We can score with anybody. The problem is, can we rebound with anybody? And before I go, this is the most glaring thing. Along with the rebounds, we cannot stop anyone in the paint. We don't have a paint presence. Christian Wood is a great player. Dwight Powell is a great player. Dwight Powell is probably one of the most hustling fours I ever seen in my life. He can't block. He's not a presence in the paint. Nobody is coming down half court set and saying, "Oh my God, Dwight Powell's in the paint. I'm not gonna go lay the ball up." They're taking it right to him. Nobody's saying, "Oh my God, Christian Wood is in the paint. I'm taking it right to the basket." And you know what? I thought JaVale McGee would be that person. I don't know really what's going on. I don't know what's going on with JaVale McGee. I don't know why they didn't make him that person. But you know, we need somebody in the paint. Somebody. They need to figure that out. That's my opinion. So we need a paint presence, which will get us some rebounds, obviously. And you know, hopefully in free agency, we'll take advantage of that. And I'll do another video to tell you who I think we should go out there in free agency. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. All right, other than that, like the video, share the video. Peace and love, man.